Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we've got a really fascinating stack of sources.
We do. We're looking at a deep dive into the human psychology of virtual interaction, and we're putting it right up against a huge hardware reveal from Valve.
So we're looking at the future of VR, but from, two completely different angles.
And our mission here is pretty simple. We want to connect the dots between the psychological ideal of perfect VR immersion and the commercial reality of a big new headset launch.
Steam frame.
The Steam frame, exactly. We're giving you the shortcut to understand how these two worlds really intersect and, where this next generation of VR is headed.
So let's start with the psychology, with this fundamental question from the research. When you put on a headset, how does the thing you're holding or wearing affect that feeling of actually being there?
Yeah, that sense of presence. The research really hinges on a concept they call natural mapping.
Okay, natural mapping. That sounds a little jargony.
It does, but it's not. It's actually super important for user experience.
So what does it mean in, practical terms, if you're building a virtual crane or something?
It's all about whether the system maps its controls to what happens on screen in a way that feels predictable, a way that matches your real-world mental model.
So you want to grab something, you just reach out and grab it.
You just reach out and grab it. If the mapping is natural, you stop thinking about the controller or the glove or whatever it is, and you just act.
And to test this, the researchers ran a study.
Right, a qualitative study. 20 participants all doing this crane assembly task in VR, and they gave them 3 very different input devices to try.
What were they using?
So first, a really high-end piece of kit, the Noidum Hi-5 VR glove, almost full finger tracking.
Wow. Okay.
Then you had the Val Index controller, which tracks some finger movement, but, it's not a perfect one-to-one mapping.
Right. And the third?
The old HTC Vive controller. The wand, basically just simple directional buttons.
A huge difference between those 3. And the findings, I'm guessing, were pretty clear.
Oh, overwhelmingly. The glove just dominated. It produced the strongest effects on everything they tested. Spatial presence, cognitive absorption, embodiment.
And I saw that half the participants said the glove felt completely natural.
Completely. And what's really fascinating is this state of embodiment they reached.
Where they accept the virtual hand as their own.
Precisely. The researchers even noted people were unconsciously making poses in VR. Giving a thumbs up, a peace sign.
I love that detail. It means they've forgotten the tech. They're not thinking, how do I make a thumbs up? They're just doing it. They're just goofing off in this virtual space.
Exactly. And that lack of friction, that leads directly to what they call cognitive absorption.
Just being lost in the task.
Totally absorbed. 14 of the 20 participants felt that way with the glove. They just forgot they were holding anything.
There's this one user quote that really says it all.
Oh, it's a great one.
With the glove, I could really dive into the process of building. But with the controllers, he said he had to think about the controller itself. It demanded increased thinking effort.
And that gets us to what the study calls the controller paradox. This is really interesting.
Okay, what's the paradox?
Well, why was the more advanced Valve Index controller, which has more capability than the old Vive wand, why was it sometimes seen as less natural?
That does seem completely backwards. Isn't more tracking always better?
Not necessarily, because incomplete realism actually increases your cognitive load. The Index tried to do complex movements, but sometimes it didn't map perfectly.
So that mismatch forces you to stop and think.
It forces you to think and correct for it. A simpler, more predictable control scheme like the old Vive controller was often less distracting than the more complicated but slightly flawed mapping of the Index.
So the big takeaway for anyone designing a VR app is that if you want real engagement for something serious like training or simulation, you need that natural movement.
It's the key. That's the psychological ideal. It sets a really high bar for what immersion can be.
Which brings us from the ideal to the commercial reality.
Right, which is usually driven by convenience, by accessibility. And that brings us to Valve's new headset, the Steam frame.
Expected in early 2026.
And this thing is a huge departure from the old Valve Index. It's standalone, it's wireless.
But it's not just a simple mobile headset, right? His whole philosophy is streaming first.
Exactly. It's designed from the ground up to leverage the power of your beefy gaming TC, just without the wire.
The big challenge there, of course, is latency. Wireless streaming has to be perfect for VR.
And Valve's solution is, I think, what really makes this device special. It uses two separate wireless radios.
Two.
Yeah. One is for your normal Wi-Fi, your internet connection, but the second one is totally dedicated to a low latency point-to-point link with your PC.
And they do that with a special dongle that comes in the
It's
box.
a little USB streaming dongle, yeah. It's clever because it completely bypasses your home Wi-Fi router.
Ah, so it avoids all the congestion from, your phone, your TV, everything else on the network.
It's a private highway, just for the VR stream. But the real magic, the technical breakthrough that makes it all work, is foveated streaming.
Foveated streaming. Okay, break that down. How does that help me as a user?
It's basically optimization magic. The headset has eye tracking built in. It knows exactly where you're looking.
The fovea, the center of your vision.
Right. And it only sends the highest resolution video stream to that tiny spot. Everything in your peripheral vision gets rendered at a lower quality.
And your brain doesn't even notice.
Your brain just fills in the blanks. And Valve says this can boost bandwidth efficiency by a factor of 10, a 10x multiplier.
Wow. And the result is latency. That's what?
Almost gone. They're talking total end-to-end latency as low as 10 to 20 milliseconds. That's what PC VR gamers demand.
Okay, let's shift to the physical device. They're really pushing weight and modularity.
Oh, yeah. The core module, so that's the displays, the processor, the optics, it is shockingly light, 185 grams.
And the whole thing is 440 grams.
Which is pretty light.
Right.
And they get there by putting the battery on the rear of the strap.
As a counterbalance.
Exactly. And they're leaning so hard into this open ecosystem idea. They're releasing the CAD specs so people can design their own accessories.
And there's an expansion port on the front.
A fast one, too. A PCIe Gen 4 port for third-party add-ons, like, better cameras for pass-through or face tracking.
Which brings us right back to that tension we started with.
Yeah.
The controllers.
Right. The new Steam Frame controllers are designed for what they call gamepad parity.
Okay, so the psych research is screaming, make it like a real hand. And Valve is, what? Making it feel like an Xbox controller.
Pretty much. They've put a D-pad on the left and all 4 ABXY face buttons on the right.
Why? Why go against that ideal of embodiment?
Because for their target market, convenience beats the ideal. They want the traditional PC gamer. And by making the controllers feel seamless for playing flat 2D games,
They make the entire Steam library accessible, not just VR games.
that's the trade-off. It's a massive selling point.
I did see they included TMR magnetic thumbsticks. What does TMR get us?
TMR just means they use magnets to read the stick's position. The key benefit for you is that these sticks are super resistant to drift.
The dreaded stick drift. That's a big deal.
It's a huge quality of life improvement, and they still have capacitive sensing on all the inputs, so you get some finger tracking, just not that perfect mapping you get with a glove.
Now about the comfort. To get that low weight, the default strap is just a soft strap, no top piece.
Yeah, and reviewers are saying that makes the rear battery kind of ineffective as a counterbalance.
So it's a cost-saving move.
Definitely. You have to buy the optional comfort kit, which adds a top strap and those knuckle-style hand straps to really get the benefit.
Let's talk about the brain inside this thing.
It's running a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chipset with 16 gigs of RAM.
Which significantly is way more powerful than the chip in the Quest 3.
Oh yeah, estimates put it at 50 to 100% faster in multi-threaded performance.
And it needs that power for the big software promise, running the entire Steam library.
Right, runs SteamOS. And it uses something called the FEX emulation layer combined with Proton.
So in simple terms, they're using software magic to trick this powerful mobile chip into running Windows games that were designed for a big desktop PC.
That is the essence of it, yeah. That FEX and Proton combo is how they make good on that promise of a portable Steam library. But, for something really demanding like Half-Life, Alex,
You're still going to be streaming that from your PC.
you'll still want to stream it, absolutely.
Okay, visuals. They went with dual 2160 by 2160 LCD panels, pancake lenses, up to 144 hertz. What are the trade-offs there?
The trade-off is in the panel type. Because they chose LCD, some reviewers have noted a somewhat visible screen door effect.
And the other big one seems to be the pass-through cameras.
Another cost-saving measure, the pass-through view is low resolution and monochrome.
Black and white?
Black and white, yeah. So its mixed reality features are going to be really limited compared to headsets with full-color pass-through.
It feels like Valve made very specific choices to prioritize streaming quality and cost over having the absolute best specs in every category.
Absolutely. Their market position is crystal clear. They're aiming to sell the frame for less than the original Index kit, so under $1,000.
This makes it a direct, powerful competitor to existing standalone headsets, aimed squarely at the millions of gamers already in the Steam ecosystem.
Exactly.
So we've looked at two really distinct visions for VR today. On one side, you have the psychological research that shows that to maximize immersion, embodiment, that feeling of presence, you need something like a VR glove.
That's the high-fidelity ideal, maximum natural mapping.
And on the other side, you have Valve's Steam Frame, which prioritizes convenience and this technical genius in its streaming solution and software bridge. It's all about making your existing library portable and easy to access.
That's the commercial reality.
Which leaves a really important question for you, the listener. The research suggests the future of pure immersion is this natural hand-based interaction, even if it's expensive. But Valve is betting on ease of use.
They're betting on connecting to the library you already own.
So which one ultimately wins in the mass market? Is it the technical brilliance of seamless streaming that appeals to the traditional PC gamer? Will that outweigh the pure immersive benefits of a more realistic input device in the long run?
And what happens when third parties start using that expansion port? What kind of truly innovative applications will this modular, open design unlock? Something to think about as these new devices start hitting the market.
Until our next deep dive, thanks for joining us.